But I do have up the MSCI all-world stock market. All right, and of course, this talks about the portfolio average weight and total return. And of course, NVIDIA, Michael Jordan at the top of the list, Scottie Pippen right behind. And here's what's interesting. So if you look at total return, 1.75, that's more than the next three. So NVIDIA has contributed more to this market than Microsoft, Amazon, and Meta combined. And it's worked so far. So if you've got an index even if it's just one name powering it, do people stick with that, or do they say, you know what, maybe the smart move is to get out before NVIDIA starts to hit some bumps in the road?
Yeah, it's starting to get expensive here. I mean, you're going to be having challenges replicating how awesome this is in terms of results. And it is almost going to be reaching a $3 trillion market cap, which you try to put that in perspective. It's really hard to do on a global basis. So we look at high quality stocks. We're looking at that as our primary implementation on the equity market. So index wise, we would actually be careful with the S&P 500. We'd increase quality. We do like mid-cap industrials. We think the Midwest is frankly booming here, and it's a lot cheaper. So if we get a rotation, that's what we like. But on a day like today, the U.S. market's doing not as well, but earnings are the best. The U.S. economies are the best in the world. So that's why we're sticking in the U.S.
Yeah, no, hey, listen, I'm with you with that 1,000%. All right, folks, NVIDIA is still hanging in there really, really nicely. This after those blowout earnings and strong guidance. My next guest says, it's hard for her to hide her pure glee about the move and the stock split. I want to bring in Simpler Trading VP of Options, Danielle Shea. Danielle, you're always smiling because you're always right. Okay, so you were pounding the table. You said you have to be in NVIDIA going into the earnings. You were right, and it's holding up, although almost everything around it is falling apart. What's happening with this market?
Well, Charles, I think it's normal to see a little bit of profit taking before a 3-day weekend. So I'm not too concerned with the price action. We are seeing quite a bit of selling right here, but I think overall the NASDAQ is holding up well. It's up above the 8 EMA on the daily chart. And I think that ultimately we're going to continue higher here because NVIDIA has just thrown more fuel onto this fire. This fourth industrial revolution, to your point, will touch every facet of our lives. And at some point, though, you hear euphemisms like productivity. Historically, when I hear things like productivity, it means you have fewer employees. I mean, is there a point where it's counterintuitive with respect to investing? I don't know about respect to investing, perhaps respect to having a job, yes, but that's why we have to invest in the stock market because you never know. AI might take over all of our roles. So what else are you looking at right now? A lot of stocks have made really big moves. It's tough to find anything so-called cheap here, but I know you still like names in the tech sector. That's right. So I'm looking at Broadcom because Broadcom has earnings coming up. And after we've seen a big move in NVIDIA post earnings, I think that's going to add some additional fuel on the fire here. So I think that Broadcom can end up trading up into 1,500, maybe about 1,550. And I'm also looking at stocks that have pulled back post earnings. We have Amazon that made new highs and has pulled back. So I like Amazon for a buy between 170 and 180, which it's at right now. And I also think Palo Alto looks great. Pelosi's still buying, and we know she's the best trader out there. Let me ask you about that, though. Let me jump on to Palo Alto for a moment, because one of the narratives, one of the themes that a lot of folks have been talking about for at least 3 years, maybe a lot longer, is cybersecurity. Now, we all know it's relevant, but does the inconsistency sometimes bother you, particularly with a stock like Palo Alto? It's not uncommon to be riding it really nicely. Earnings come out and you're back to first base, just like Monopoly. You go back to go, but you don't collect $200. You might have lost it. Okay. It got so exciting in here. I think we actually lost Danielle. So here's the bottom line, folks. There is a little bit of selling on the news going on right now, but I started this show by making a very important point. While NVIDIA is extraordinarily exciting and AI will change everything about our lives, and including investing, there's still the issue of economy, still an issue of inflation. We did have Kelsey who admitted, where most folks on Wall Street won't, that lower income homes are getting decimated, and that might be spreading further. We heard two major Wall Street CEOs give us a warning. No rate cuts. In fact, maybe brace for stagflation, maybe brace for a hard landing. Yesterday, when those Fed minutes came out, this market, it kind of collapsed. It kind of collapsed ahead of the biggest earnings report that everyone felt great about, and everyone was right when it came to NVIDIA.
Same thing today. Something is not right. Maybe there needs to be some adjustment. So make sure you contain your glee, stay nimble, and always watch Liz Claman for the last hour of trading.
Watch you. Bubble. Now you're hearing everybody talk about a bubble.
Let's begin with NVIDIA's blowout quarter. The company revenue more than tripled in Q1, and its data center business grew by more than 400% over a year earlier, sending shares above $1,000 for the first time. Here's Jensen Huang on the call last night.
The demand for GPUs in all the data centers is incredible. We're racing every single day. And the reason for that is because applications like ChatGPT and GPT-4o, and now it's going to be multimodality, and Gemini, and its ramp, and Anthropic, and all of the work that's being done at all the CSPs are consuming every GPU that's out there.
Jim, a lot of the commentary today says any worries about an air pocket probably get assuaged today.
Yeah, look, there was a lot of teaching on the call last night. Jensen came in right after Colette Kress, who's the amazing CFO. Usually he comes in much later, but he wanted to try to explain to people about the industrial revolution that's begun, and that most people are really looking at this wrong. Most people are saying, okay, why don't we pause? This is the commentary. And we'll wait until we get this Blackwell, which is really a platform system. And he said, first of all, everything that they have, the H100, the H200, with the predecessors, you are all going to accelerate from here. Well, that would be really slap right in the face of the people who are saying, well, there's got to be a stop, where a pause. And then he said something that I think was amazing, and we're going to have to talk about. Automobile. It's going to be automobile. That's the number one this year. No one thought that. Everyone thought it would be the cloud service providers. They thought it was going to be Meta and Alphabet and Amazon. It's Tesla. And it's Tesla, and it's, it's self-driving. Full self-driving. And he talked extensively about that. I was kind of bowled over that because that's not what I was thinking. But it just shows you that what happens is that of all the outfits, it does seem like Musk realizes that you have to get all the chips you can. The 100s, the 200s, and then get Blackwell, because you have to get these chips to learn. They have to be trained. And the example that Jensen gave you was you can put video in it, and it can see what a stop sign is anywhere. It can learn what to do with signs. Before, it had been like, this is a stop sign. This is a red light. And it was almost as if he spent a lot of time with Musk. And Musk is saying, listen, I'll take everything you have, not wait. And I think it was an example. It was an example of you can't wait for Blackwell. If you want to be the technological leader, you got to take the whole suite, whatever we can get you. And I point that out just because even this morning, the Wall Street Journal has an article, and I am going to name this directly because I'm tired of what Reuters had to say. I'm tired of what I read a lot of different outlets saying that, this is people are nipping at their heels. If they're nipping at the heels, then it's not the heels of this company. It would be the heels of other companies trying.
You're referring to NVIDIA.
Yeah, NVIDIA,
not Tesla.
No Tesla. No, I'm saying that the journal article was basically, well, now that NVIDIA's on the top, here's going to catch up to them. No, this was NVIDIA ascendant. And why I mentioned the Tesla for a couple of reasons, but one was that Musk wasn't saying even 2 quarters ago that he needed Jensen. And now he's all in. So it's Musk, and then the second one was Zuckerberg. Those are the two. Zuckerberg, because he's an open system. This is the LAM open system. Neither I expected to be top. I expect to be Amazon to be top, or maybe Alphabet, Microsoft. It wasn't. It was a very different narrative, and one that was unexpected. And that's one of the reasons why the stock's not done going higher.
A lot of the notes today, Bernstein goes to 1,300, TD Cowen 1,200. TD Cowen's a great note. They say, remember that $11 billion guide last year? They just guided to 2.5 times that.
Well, I mean, I was doing some mathematics for the club, for the investing club, and if you look at what it was at the beginning of the year, it was at 19 times earnings. That's what it turned out to be. If you looked at the future earnings turned out to be so much higher. When talking behind the scenes with them today, they were saying, can you believe how much cheaper our stock is than AMD? It's true. Yep. Their stock remains very, very cheap with a 19 multiple at the beginning of the year on a $26 number. Obviously, the $26 number was an estimate. It turned out to be the number was far lower than the number you gave.
Yes.
And so I think that there's still a sense of people don't understand NVIDIA. And what I was joking with them before him. What they after the close, no inside information. They knew that people would like the 10-for-1 split.
Yeah, which is something that you had actually raised with them a while ago. Take a listen to this piece of sound.
150 people I saw this weekend who all told me, please tell him thank you. They all also want something that I know is pedestrian and doesn't add value. They want a stock split. Why can't you give it to us?
Well, we'll think about it. Today is not the day to announce it, as you know.
No, I know it. And again, I apologize it's meretricious.
Yeah, we've done stock splits in the past. One of the things that I really like about stock splits, by the way, is that it makes for the stock purchase for our employees and others.
Yes, that's what Walmart says too.
Yeah, it's a good thing. And we want to make sure that we take care of our employees. They do such an incredible job for us.
No, Jensen knew that I was asking for something that doesn't create value. At the same time, he recognizes that everyone should have a right or ability to be able to buy it. And obviously, the employees do well. But this is an example of the remarkable nature of this man. He had probably 40 things going on in his head while I was bothering him with this. I mean, right now, he was probably thinking about how to put a man on Jupiter, and he's got to listen to this older guy badgering him on a stock split, and he's fine. It was like when I told a joke to him, and I said, I just told you a joke. And he goes, I know, it's super funny. Laughing on the inside. He's got so many things going in his head, but he was willing to give us the stock split because we basically said, individuals want to own your stock. Please give him a chance.
Right.
And he cared.
So if you're all about the ascendance of this name and putting more white space between it and rivals, what do we make of the halo today in AMD, Intel, SMCI, Dell, HPQ, and others?
Okay, of those, Dell deserves it because Dell is still the way to implement. HP, he did say, Jensen, that there will be an AI PC and that they will be in it. I was surprised. Now, they're in 100 million servers, so that's going to be a big thing for them. So you could say HP definitely a winner. Although, remember, HP is really identified with AMD. That's very important. What was that company that you mentioned that began with the letter I?
It's the name that NVIDIA has added today in market cap.
Oh, no, I meant
Intel.
Oh. You must be speaking about intelligence. That's the company that Honeywell bought. Yes, Intel is sadly not a factor. I mean, Broadcom's more of a factor. I would say that when you look at the factors, it is kind of interesting to see some companies up very, very big, and they do deserve it. Micron, because you need DRAM. ARM should be higher because ARM is the CPU that's involved. I don't know why they're not higher. That would be the one. They should be higher than Micron. But the one that I want to buy, oh, man, I'm going to commit to this, is Tesla. If Jensen says Tesla, if Musk has gotten right with Jensen, then I want to too. Snowflake did come up. Snowflake did tell me last night that they felt they were the only one who really had this model, the rent the runway model, so to speak. But Jensen's got like 5 other companies that are doing it, but they're not public.
Tesla is holding in there this morning. There is news, of course, breaking ground on a big factory in Shanghai. There is this Harris poll data, Jim, that shows their trust levels of major brands has fallen from 8 to below 60. They're behind Honda, Subaru, Toyota, Ford.
Well, I saw something really funny this morning. That Ford got an upgrade by Bernstein because, the epoxy's so dry on 12. I don't know how it's going to get free to 15, maybe a crowbar. It takes a crowbar to get that thing off 12. But look, I think that Tesla, I'm taking a long shot here and saying that yesterday and all this week we've been hearing that Tesla wants to be much more than just a car company. And Jensen's endorsement of them is saying they're far ahead of everyone and they're going to have they are going to have full self-drive. I'm not going against Jensen ever. I don't really care about about Musk. I don't go against Jensen. Because Jensen has not talked lovingly about Musk before. By the way, nothing Apple. Nothing Apple.
Interesting. The auto wrinkle is definitely new, and the fact that it surprised you is notable.
My God, and Jensen went out of his way to make it happen.
Does it make you think that any kind of hardware refresh on the consumer side is less important?
No, I think that these guys can walk and chew gum. He's very excited about the PC, and I made the point of saying, guys, I don't think you're as interested in the consumer, and they were saying they were being very kind and said that's a misread, Jim. That's just a misread of the situation. Right. They want to be ubiquitous, is their thought. I also emphasized robot and reading to them, and they came back and they said, listen, we mentioned in it that we would show a video of a sports player, and they would then be able to mimic that video because of tokens. They'd be able to put it together. Right. Very solid.
NVIDIA is absolutely crushing it. There's so much we could talk about. Gross profits through the roof. Forward-looking guidance is better than expected. A 10-for-1 stock split effective on June 7th. NVIDIA raising their dividend. Blackwell is in full production, and Jensen Huang expects the company will realize some revenue from Blackwell before the year is over. The largest companies and governments in the world are practically waiting at NVIDIA's doorstep for the latest releases of their products. There is so much going on at once. NVIDIA is knocking it out of the park on so many different fronts. Gross profit was up about 4x, not 4%, but 4x year over year. Net income was up more than 7x year over year. And at the same time, NVIDIA's operating expenses only rose by about 39.4% year over year. These are crazy good results. And there is so much to look forward to. Of course, there's the 10-for-1 stock split. And while a stock split technically doesn't have any fundamental effect on NVIDIA, it does make it easier for people to invest in NVIDIA stock. And that is a very good thing. NVIDIA's Blackwell platform is on the way and will offer companies greater efficiency, lower energy consumption, and lower costs. And even now, before the newest chips are even available, many companies are stepping up and buying whatever they can get from NVIDIA. They're not waiting for the latest release. They're taking what they can get right now. I'll share this graphic again that I saw the other day from TrendSpider because it effectively sums up what is happening here. When everyone digs for gold, sell shovels. And that is essentially what NVIDIA is doing. As every single company in the world, big and small, seek to improve efficiency and cut costs through the implementation of artificial intelligence in their businesses, NVIDIA stands to benefit massively. Please leave a like on this video so more people will see it. And while you're down there, please consider subscribing. It's free, and you can always change your mind. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.